Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog. So let's get to it. I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all. All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole her truck. It's like you can hear it all throughout the store. This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book 4, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, you guys, we got quite a few topics to talk about today. We're going to start with politics. There's a lot going on in the world today, y'all. We got to discuss it. First of all, you guys know that they're in the middle of, well, they just began the confirmation hearings for some of YSAP's junk drawer. And we know that currently Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is on the stand, and the people are grilling him about his stance on many things. You guys know he is in line to be, YSAP has chosen him to be the Health and Human Services, the person that oversees the Health and Human Services Department for the United States. And this department is in charge of the health and human services of this country. So Medicare, Medicaid, I've always gotten those two confused. I don't know the particulars. You would think that I would, considering I'm about to be retiring soon. Knock on wood, because I'm telling you, the way that things are going now, I'm afraid. I'm like worried that something is going to go left and it is going to make me be nervous about this retirement, y'all. I know y'all tired of hearing about the retirement, but you're going to hear about it. I'm sorry. You're going to hear about it. Anyway, so yeah, RFK is on the line right now. He's on the line right now, and they are talking to him about his stance on vaccinations, past statements that he's talked about when it came to vaccinations, and many other things as well. But we are really keeping a good eye on the whole vaccinations thing. We know that RFK is anti-vax. He's an anti-vaxxer. Is that what they call them? The anti-vaccine people? Which, we've got a larger crop of those people since COVID happened. A lot of people were against getting the vaccination. And so there are more people now who feel that, these vaccines are unnecessary. And I know that vaccines are controversial. Okay. I know that people have blamed vaccines, including himself, on the reason why we have such a huge rise in autism in our children. So some of the newer vaccines get a bad rap. And we know that's because the vaccine process of getting them approved and bringing them to the public is not the same as it used to be. It used to be a much longer process. But because these viruses crop up so quickly, they mutate, they change. These vaccines, it's hard for them to, even with the COVID vaccine, you can have a at-home test at the house that you just recently purchased or recently received from the government or whatever, and those tests might not even work because it's constantly mutating. On top of that, we have a lot of viruses that are going on right now. We have norovirus, we have RSV, we have COVID, we have bird flu is getting added to the mix. We have the regular flu, influenza. So there's a lot going on. A lot of them are respiratory type of viruses, and just me not being a doctor or having any kind of medical experience, I'm just feeling like all of these respiratory viruses kind of stem from COVID. Wherever COVID came from, I'm sure it stemmed from somewhere else, but COVID seems to be the virus that started all the rest of these other ones. They probably have existed already. They were already found out about by our scientists or researchers or whatever. But now it's just like it's not quite a pandemic, but it's there. So anyway, all that to say, the people are grilling him on what he has said. You guys, he's talked about Black people not necessarily needing the same vaccines as everybody else because Black people's immune systems are quote unquote better than white people's. That probably lends to the reason why Black people are not necessarily listened to or believed when they go into the health system, when they go to their doctors. You guys know, like I know, that Black people have to fight harder to convince their doctors when they feel that they have some symptoms of some possibly, some sort of disease or virus. Even mothers who are giving birth. Doctors are so quick to just be like, oh, it's nothing. Okay. Might not run tests when we need them ran. We find out we're diagnosed later than other people, and that might be because people have just been like thrown ibuprofen at us and said, okay, go home and rest. Okay, take a little tussin and figure it out, when it should be even more than that. So that statement about Black people having better immune systems, I think it has something to do with that as well. He's also talked about the vaccines just being trash and that they don't help. However, he did vaccine his children. He vaccinated his children, and it's a whole bunch of people walking by the car and they staring in the car and looking. So we'll see what happens here. And I have my window down because it's hot. Shit, how we go from 20-degree weather last week to hot as fuck this week? It's not hot as fuck, but it's 60 degrees, y'all. It's hot. Shit. It's hot when you're going through menopause. Let me say that. So anyway, yesterday I was watching on the news. They were showing just some clips from him being questioned, and I kind of giggled to myself when somebody had asked him about Medicaid. He had absolutely no answers. He didn't even know the answer that he gave didn't even make sense to the question that was asked. Okay, it was just one of those, you know how it is when you see like the beauty pageant girl trying to come up with an answer to a question. They ain't got shit to do with nothing. That's the same thing that we was looking at with RFK Jr. yesterday. So I am really concerned that he's going to be the Health and Human Services Director. I just feel like this is a huge mistake. And yeah, I mean, fine. If YSAP want to give some of his cronies like some positions in his junk drawer, whatever, because they were loyal, I mean, that's fine. But when we're talking about like these are staple positions that require education, it requires someone that has had experience. It requires a lot. You have literal blood on your, you are responsible for the livelihood of every single American in this country. Do we really want an RFK to be that person to do it? So we'll see how the confirmation hearing goes. I know the confirmations, I mean, it seems like they've always just been like they 98% of the time seems like they've always confirmed the people in. I mean, I don't remember a time where they've turned away somebody and been like, no, this is not the person. So that's the part that's scariest about it. It looks like RFK is gonna be a shoe-in for it unless really somebody puts their foot down and be like, we can't put this motherfucker in there because he don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Okay. So we'll see what happens. One person who was definitely against it and tried to warn everybody was Carolyn Kennedy. Carolyn Kennedy is the cousin of RFK, and she has spoken out, put out a statement the other day. Actually, she didn't put the statement out. She made a video. Okay, because maybe y'all don't understand when shit is on paper. Let me get some emotion behind this, even though she's not an emotional woman. She's very clear. And if somebody, I don't know how you could listen to the things that she said in that statement and still be 100% okay with the fact that RFK is going to be the person in that seat. Just to paraphrase what she said, she was just like, listen, this is my cousin. Okay. This is my cousin, and I've known him all my life. I've known that he has cheated and lied and stolen. Boy. I know that he has done the most his whole life to get ahead. And while that has worked for him thus far, she would like to hope that you guys will stop him in this instance, because he doesn't have any experience. He doesn't have any experience for managing people. He doesn't have any experience for financial, managing of financial red lines and bottom lines and all that. He has no experience in the health department. He's not a doctor. He's not a scientist. He's not a researcher. I mean, hell, he changes his mind all the time. She basically said that he has just been one of those kids that has been a problem in the family their entire life, that's always been able to get ahead, that he has like this personality that he's able to, know a lot of people and be around a lot of people and all. I guess you could call it charisma if that's what you like. Something about RFK just reminds me of like that person when you were in college who probably was in college for way too long, still lived in the dorm, still like a party boy. He 27, everybody else is 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay. This nigga been living in the dorms for the longest, or living in like the student housing area. Always at the parties, barely going to class, definitely getting by on his name. We know he's a Kennedy, and so, yeah, I can like 100% picture the kind of person that she said he was. What was the most alarming, and I hope it was alarming for you guys, is when she was talking about how he would blend up live. Did she say mice and kitten? She said two animals. I was trying to find the video and I didn't have time. I thought about it too late while I was walking out to my car, and I was just like, fucking. But she talked about him blending two live, maybe rodents, animals, whatever, two live things breathing into a blender and blending it up so that he can feed it to his, what was it that she said? I don't know. Was it a lizard? Some sort of like, I'm thinking of those huge lizards that look like the small crocodiles or whatever. I was just like, if that statement alone, like, I don't even want to picture that in my mind. Listen, you don't have to like animals. You can hate animals. All right. But I will always say that there is something wrong with a person that can cruelly abuse and kill or maim any kind of living thing. Like, if you don't have it in you to have some sort of empathy for this breathing thing and knowing that you are actually killing it, like, something is wrong with you. I've always felt like anybody that can beat on animals, even if you don't like animals, I'm fine with you not liking animals. But when you can start beating and killing animals, like, something's wrong. Something is wrong there. Okay, that's usually a good sign. But she was very clear on what she said, and she was just trying to keep the country from making a huge mistake, or keeping Congress, I should say, from making a huge mistake, because they're the ones that are going to let him be the person, when I'm sure most of them know. But the problem is YSAP wants RFK in position, and everybody is afraid because YSAP is in that office and he is going straight up ham. I've already said that he's doing all the things that he said that he was going to do. So it's not much of a surprise, but I think that people really honestly did not know for sure if he really was going to try to follow through on all of his threats, or should I say promises, while he was campaigning. Well, the day is here, and the man is going through things with a red felt tip pen, and he's just marking. Okay. So yeah, now we've got people like RFK in there, and it's concerning. They're about to bring old girl, the one that's going to be over the defense, the one that's going to have to explain her reasoning for visiting Syria, I think it was. I didn't put this in my notes. My notes is on my computer right now, you guys, because damn printer at work wouldn't work, and I couldn't print my notes out, so I got it here. But so yeah, that RFK, and then they're going to be confirming all the rest of the people. But the Health and Human Services, the Defense Department, FBI, there are some seats that we really need to, they just need to get more serious, okay? Because some of these people just feel like a joke. All right. Um, as far as the as far as YSAP putting the freeze on the federal government, federal funding, I should say, I think they did that on Tuesday. By Wednesday, yesterday, or maybe even by Tuesday evening, they decided to rescind the hold on the financial, the funding for the federal programs. Okay, when they first did it, though, they had the whole fucking country in an uproar because there are many people who rely on this government, and even if you are one of those people who feel like the government assists Americans too much, okay, because there is a conversation that can be had about that. I think we can all agree is you can't just decide to undo shit in a few hours and just be like, okay, like this is not an office. This is not, I know that everybody says that YSAP is a businessman and he's going to run the country like he's run his businesses, which, I mean, the man has claimed bankruptcy and all of that, but y'all want the man to run it, fine. Okay. But they say that he going to run it like a business and all. But you can't do that. There's millions and millions of people here. We're not just talking about a staff of 100 people. Okay. So you just deciding to cut all that, nobody knew what that even meant. All right. All we know is we got people that's doing student loans from the federal government. We got people that's on Medicaid that's being provided by the government. We got people that's on Social Security and disability, and we've got people that get food stamps, and we got people that rely on a lot. Okay. So when they said that, and then it was coupled with they shut down the Medicaid website, and I think that was probably Medicaid's doing because they didn't even know what it meant. It was just sort of like, this is not how you run things. I know you want to keep saying that you like this businessman and you like take charge and you mean it. Like I said, that's what I'm gonna do, and fine, but again, it was a lot of confusion, a lot of chaos. All right. People were worried what was going to happen the next day. But then if you read closely, you would see on the paperwork that they also put out with that statement of the holding of the federal funds that they said that direct paid programs to the people of these here United States of America, those programs will not be affected. So then that was like, okay, the direct programs, which is food stamps, which is the student loans, the scholarships, something where the government is just directly paying you, then that is going to continue on. Social Security, disability, blah, 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 blah. What's going to be affected, though, are I want to say third party programs, even though that's not the correct term, but it's those programs that were created where the government funds them to assist the people. So they're like the middleman program. So like the Head Start, I'm assuming maybe WIC, Section 8, those kind of things. Those are still government programs, but those are government programs that are funded by the government to go and disperse that money. Okay. Those are the things that are in jeopardy. Maybe not. I think Section 8 was a part of that. Don't quote me, but I'm just giving an example of like I'm giving an example. The Asian little couple in the parking lot look like they're about to argue. I'm here at the sushi place, and child look like they getting into it. Anyway, what was I saying that fast? Anyway, you guys, I've forgotten. I've lost my train of thought, but what is really going on? They driving the cars around and you hear them? Child, they are fussing. The lady is mad and everything, and all this crazy. Anyway, Um, so yeah, even though it is still some confusion, now she's parking right next to me and she's really, really close to my car. What is happening? So yeah, there's a lot of confusion on that. I mean, there was a lot of confusion. It actually is still a lot of confusion. However, I think YSAP and his secretary, his press secretary, what's all girl name? We gonna see a lot of Carolyn Levitt. Okay. And it looks like she's also one of those ones that's determined to make sure that you know that she's take charge and everything. You know, oh no, we meant exactly what we said and that we are going after the girl. Okay. So anyway, after they had then got the country in an uproar and everything, and maybe that was by design, maybe they did that on purpose. Okay. But after they got everybody upset and let them know what was going on, then they decided to rescind it. All right. So then everybody was just like, phew. All right, maybe now we made it. Okay. But Miss Levitt came on back later. She was just like, nah, we ain't rescinded nothing. We still going after these programs, these executive orders that YSAP has put in place. They are still going to go for them and everything. It's just that they got pushback, obviously. There's a judge, there is a federal judge who did put a lawsuit through, and so they held it. Let me see what the judge's name is. Judge Lauren L. Ali Khan. I messed the name up, I know. But there is a federal judge who blocked YSAP's attempted action just minutes before it was supposed to go into place. Okay. So that might have something to do with it as well. And but that hold is only until February 3rd. So between now and February 3rd, nothing is happening. But after February 3rd, I expect us all to kind of return back to that place of chaos and confusion and not really know from which from which is coming some people's help. Okay. So yeah. We're just gonna keep on watching and seeing. I mean, there ain't nothing else we can do, y'all. We just gotta wait and see. ICE is still out there. Did you guys see that Phil I was gonna say Phil Donahue, about to tell my age, child. What that man name is, the one that's the doctor, Dr. Phil. Y'all saw him out there with the ICE agents. Now, Dr. Phil, why are you out here with the ICE agents? Why are you out there with them? I knew I ain't like that motherfucker a long time ago. I just tolerated his ass with his Wyatt Earp mustache and his stupid, dumb face. I ain't never really seen it for Dr. Phil. I could never put my finger on why. Now I understand why that motherfucker, not an ally, child, not an ally. Anyway, yeah, he was out there and then he was having a nerve to be shocked when somebody recognized him. Of course we will recognize you. Big old Herman the Munster looking ass motherfucker. Anyway, child. So yeah, it's a lot going on in our politics right now. Real confusing times, not surprising, because I think that some of this, the way that they're rolling it out, is done so that we can kind of be off balance. I think that that's how they want everybody to be right now. All right, you guys, I'm sorry. I had to check my notes because I was feeling like the notes that I have on my computer here, I was feeling like some shit was missing. I almost forgot to mention that the whole federal jobs and YSAP ordering all federal employees to come back into the office full time 5 days a week. I didn't realize that the federal government employees, that they were still working from home. They had told all of us to work from home. I'm sure you guys remember that when pandemic hit. So federal, local, city, all of these governments, jobs, everybody was working from home at one point. Okay. Last year, February, they told us I work for local government. I don't work for federal government. There were many of you guys that were concerned that, some of the things that he was putting in place were going to affect me. And so far, I mean, they haven't. I don't work for federal government. So I work 3 days in the office and 2 days at home. And child, I love it. I hope they never, ever, ever change it, even though I'm always kind of expecting it to. So if they did change it, you know, I'm always kind of prepared that that might happen, even though I'm going to be real sad if it does. But, I do have my one caveat is I won't be here much longer. But yeah, they wanted everybody to come in 5 days a week. And we know that's because they want everybody to be spending the money and getting out. There's a lot that happens when you go to the office. We've talked about it before. It's not just you going to the office. You got to buy gas. You get clothes. You go to lunch. You go to restaurants in the area. You go shopping on your break. After work. It's like a lot of things that happen. So trying to get the economy, I understand why they would want everybody to be in there 5 days a week. Yet and still, it's just sort of like some of the issues that this administration is concerned about. It's just like, why do you guys care about certain things? It don't even seem like it should be an issue because it's not even that big. As far as like, for example, this whole transgender situation. Yes, I know we have many transgenders in America. However, it's still such a very small population. And I don't even understand why they're making it such a point that they standing on, And I feel that way about a lot of the issues that they brought to the forefront. Some things are more serious than others, and yeah, I just don't understand. But anyway, this work from home situation, YSAP told those people that they had to report to work the fucking next day after the inauguration. These are people that have been working from home somewhere around 5 years and have totally tailored their lives around working from home now. Ain't nobody saying that we ain't saying that they can't take their ass back into the office if that's exactly what they have to do. However, bitch, can we have a little time? Because maybe I need to get I might need to get a car. I might not have transportation. I might have some kids here that might need babysitting or animals, or I might have some things that I got to work through. I didn't say I couldn't do it. Just give me a fucking little bit of time, realistically. Okay. I think also on that same day, they said something about a motherfucker, if they wanted to resign from the federal government, that they needed to do it that day on an email. So you do it right now. You can be resigned. We're going to give you 8 months of severance, and you go on about your business. You got to respond to this email right now, though. You just respond with one word: resign. Now, I don't know if that offer is still in place, but I'm going to tell you, depending on where you are in your career with the federal government, if like for instance, if that would have happened to me today and I work for federal government and they sent something like that to me, I would have resigned because I'm about to retire. Well, as long as I'm able to still pull my retirement, that's let's let because we got to think about the long term. But yeah, that kind of payout, if it worked out perfectly, it would be great, because that means that I'm gonna get an 8-month severance and I'm gonna get my retirement. Like, I could pay some bills and shit off and still get my retirement, so I would have to see how it works. But that severance package wasn't so bad for somebody that was in a position where I am. Now, obviously, if you worked at the federal government and they told you this and, you wasn't really prepared to be, saying I'm quitting, fuck, I still might have looked at that email, thought about it real hard, and called some people and got their advice, because 8-month severance, that's a good little package. Okay. And, but like I said, since they rescinded this order, I'm not sure if that is even still on the table. But that wasn't too bad. That was not too bad of a deal. Okay. And, they're trying to say that government is too big, which I can agree. There are some points of government that is too big and unnecessary, but it just can't happen overnight like that. We would love for it to be that way. But like I said, this is millions of people that we're, that you're talking about. So, Yeah, but if you one of those federal government employees and you got that email, I would like to hear your opinion. Not your opinion. I would like to hear your story, and you tell us, like, how did this work out? Did you decide to do that? You know, did you look at it good? Did you really think about it? Like, I want to know what you guys thought about it, and even if the offer is still on the table. And while we're talking about YSAP, we can talk about immigration. ICE is still out there. You know, they are in the cities. And so far, I think they have like a report that they put out every day or something. And 2 days ago, I saw a report that said that they had pretty much got about 1,000 people. They expect to be around 30,000 people, maybe even more than that. But they are rounding these people up. Okay. I'm sure you guys saw that a lot of people are not going to work. They're not sending their children to school. You know, everybody is a little concerned. Those who have paperwork that explains that they are citizens or, you know, that they are there by permission or whatever. Yeah, I would advise everybody to keep their paperwork with them. Okay. Because I was watching the news last night and the ICE guy was talking about how they go into these houses. Right now, they're being directed to people that are known criminals here in the United States, people that might have ankle monitors on or people that were arrested for whatever they were arrested for in the past. So they're going to these places, right? Now, many of these folks might be criminals, but they have a family, they live with people. So when they go in these houses, they're going to get the criminal. But then when they get to asking questions around there, and if you ain't got the right answer for these people, when you know what they're going to round you up to. If the man said, if we determine that you are not a citizen either, now this is just from what they determining. They ain't got no iPad that they looking at a list and it's saying citizen or not a citizen. Okay, this is just somebody that's going by the conversation that they have with these scared ass people that got these big ass ICE agents in their home, intimidating them and everything. You know, probably can't, you know, not probably, let me not say that, but some of them might not speak English clearly, you know, and then, you know, when you get nervous and scared, you really can't speak clearly, you know. So these people are getting caught up in it too. So you bring in people that aren't criminals, they getting caught up, and you might even be taking some people that are actually citizens but just could not explain it best, getting taken too. Okay. So yeah, sad, scary situation. I would hate to be a person that's facing this. Like I said, I know some people, like you guys know some people that are going to get caught up in this one way or the other, and it's just too bad. They're saying that they're going to take these folks that they round up, you know, if they can't get them directly to their countries like immediately after they've swept them up, you know what, they're going to take them to a holding station, a transfer station. Now, they was doing that holding shit in Texas somewhere. Was it Texas or Arizona or something on YSAP's last presidency. Okay. And that was a mess because our cameras was always there. The news was there. We were seeing how these people were getting treated and wearing just those silver paper blankets, you know, to warm them up. And they didn't have beds and it was real inhumane and all that. We saw all that this last time. So this time we are now taking these people, these immigrants that they picked up, and we gonna hold them at Guantanamo Bay. Guantanamo Bay is not held for terrorists right now, or I think they said that they just have a few people there right now, but it's pretty much empty and just sitting there waiting. So now they're gonna take these immigrants there, and they've told the people at Guantanamo Bay to expect somewhere around 30,000 people. Okay, that's what they expect to have holding there. I can already see that this is gonna be a disaster, another kind of disaster. However, we won't see it as much because it's not on American ground. Because it's going to be in Guantanamo Bay, we are not going to be seeing. Is that plugged in? Yeah. Because it's not at Guantanamo Bay. Hold on. Because it's not at Guantanamo. I'm sorry, I forgot I had my Michael Jackson here. Because it's not at Guantanamo, because it's not here on American soil, we won't see how these people at Guantanamo Bay are going to be treated this time. Okay. And so that's even more concerning. You're going to have 30,000 people there. They've got to have staff there to watch these 30,000 people. They're going to have to make sure, what if these people end up being there longer than our government expects them to be? Now you got a whole island of folks that you got to be watching that are criminals and all. I can already see it's going to be bad news, y'all. It's going to be bad news. Okay? It's going to be petty criminals and shit in there, but it's going to be some hardened criminals in there too. Putting them all together in Guantanamo Bay. And then you've got all these other people that are probably getting caught up in it as well that aren't criminals. It's going to be mixed. It's going to be a disaster. It's going to be a mess. But you know what? If they play their cards right, we won't even know. It's going to be so much other shit going on in the world that we ain't even going to have time to be paying attention to all these 15 and 20 different things that YSAP going on. So them people that's going to be held out there at the immigration, I hope they family just hold the candle for them, because everybody else is going to be preoccupied with some other stuff that's going on. All right, that's it on that. I feel like this whole video, I'm just going to make this whole video be about politics. I'm going to post this second. The rest of the stuff I'm going to put on another video together. Okay. But you guys let me know what you think about all of that I have spoken about. Again, there's other things that's happening that I done forgot. So y'all put that down there in the comments too. And we gonna get on off of here. All right, Roxstars, that is it. I'm about to call and order my sushi, and then I'll go on in there, pick up my food, and take it on back to work. All right, you guys. We do this every single week, so make sure you thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Till next time, Roxstars. Bye.